What's the most laughable reason you've been turned down for a job? Most people have been turned away from a job for the most ridiculous reasons. I once applied to be a receptionist at a salon because I said I wanted to attend cosmetology school. And they were upset that I would go to school. They wanted my full focus to be a receptionist, making $10, $12 an hour for the rest of my life, with no benefits. WTF? I was also turned down for a job because I wore yellow to an interview. Old white man said we wear more muted colors here. It's a call center. Who cares what I wear? I walked into the interview, sat down, and the guy looks at me, and the first thing he said was, "I'm not hiring you. You're not aggressive enough." And I said okay and left. I said I wouldn't leave a $46,000 year job for $30,000 and no benefits with a promise of more as they grow. But they wanted someone with experience. Seems I wasn't the right fit. Tears of joy. Funny you mention the color thing. Some job recruiter gave me shade because I wore a red jacket to my interview, and she specifically said that's why I wouldn't be right for the job. Face with rolling eyes. Whatever. Enjoy being crazy. I was too qualified for the job. After getting a unanimous approval from everyone that interviewed me, the hiring manager turned me down cause it was be too easy to promote me and raise my pay. That's literally what they said to me. The one that still gets me is when I first entered the workforce and got turned down for entry-level retail and fast food jobs because my only reason for wanting to work there was to get money. I remember one manager told me, "We don't want people that are only motivated by money to work here." I tried to get a job at a local lawnmower small engine repair business, working their front desk. Owner questioned if I know computers well. I said I do. I asked what software they used primarily. He said he just wanted to make sure I could move around on the computer and open programs in their computer version. I replied, "I think I can manage that." He asked, "What programs do you know?" To which I said, "Well, the standard things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, email, etc. But I might just need a quick once around whatever sales program they might have." He said, "Well, we use Windows 95. So I don't think this is going to work out. You don't have reliable transportation." Job site was literally 2 blocks from my house. "I'm not hiring you because your Achilles is strained and you need a cane to move around." For a data entry job. I worked for the company recently but had to be off for 6 months before I could apply again. Got told my husband almost dying and having a failing liver wasn't a good enough reason to take time off and live off my savings. They wanted someone who would put the company first. I'm never putting a company first, and yes, I'm only there for the money. You are overqualified for this position and you aren't likely to stay long term. It was a seasonal role for 3 months. I was in college and needing a summer job. It's exactly what they asked for. I was turned down by multiple jobs in 2005-2007 for failing the personality test. I still don't know how I failed them. Aside from picking the answer of get the manager when someone was being a twatwaffle. Almost 2 decades later, I know now it's because I am on the spectrum. And those tests were designed to screen out the neurodivergent. It's fine. I never wanted to work at McDonald's, Banfield Pet Hospital, or Family Movie anyways. I wouldn't hold the interviewer's hand and asked him to please not touch me. It was a lab job studying fertility and he wanted to hold my hand while explaining the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle to me. I'm a female. AITA. He told me I was a beautifully qualified candidate and that he would have picked me had I been friendlier. AITA 2. I was only 20 at the time. I was once rejected for not giving enough examples to answer a question. They asked me for an example. Singular, not plural. My background was from industries where you follow instructions exactly or people can die. Another time I was rejected for giving an incorrect answer to why something was magnetic. The next day I asked a colleague who knew magnetism inside out if I was wrong. I wasn't. They had those dumb aptitude tests. And the interviewer said he won't bother taking me into the interview room because I got a high score in the math section. And they wanted someone who could learn on the job. WTF does that even mean? Walked into an interview completely, if not overprepared for some sort of charity. We were to design a brochure as part of it. Me being me thought that was a bit silly and thought a bookmark this was a long time ago was a much better idea that would reach more people. Who really reads a brochure? They loved it, they loved me, it would have been a really interesting job. They phoned me to tell me that they were hiring a friend they knew but loved the bookmark idea and could they keep it? Christ, buffoonery. That my answers weren't detailed enough. It was a shelf-stacking job in a supermarket and I already had half a year of retail experience. I'm so sorry that I didn't go through a detailed analysis of how I pick up boxes, take the products out and put them on display. Because I wasn't comfortable sharing a hotel room with someone I don't know for out-of-state training. I offered to foot my own room bill but I was told I wasn't getting the job for not being a team player. The roomie in question? A40M. While I was 25F and newly married. I don't have time to train you, so why did you offer me the job? After being turned down for a job I was highly qualified for, one of the employees reached out to me off the record just to tell me why I was turned down. Turns out they wanted to give the job to the director of the department's friend and the job posting was BC. They were required to do that legally. To show that nepotism or favoritism does not exist, then he proceeded to tell me to keep applying and not get discouraged. I cried so hard that day. After thanking him for being honest, I applied to their sister company and got the same job making more than double the pay. I guess things work out the way they are supposed to for a reason. Like a month-long interview process. 3 candidates for 2 open positions. Finally heard back. We're going with name down the hall, so she can really hit the ground running. Always ask if there's an internal candidate being considered for the job. I had to fill out one of those bullshit personality assessments and was told I couldn't be trusted because I said I'd talk to someone privately before reporting them for drugs. This was for like a dress barn or something. Turned down. Failed the psychological assessment. I'm not a serial killer. I did get a job once where when I asked about if I would be considered for the job the incumbent in the position told me I wasn't aggressive enough to get the job and my boss at the time told me I was too aggressive to get it. I got it. I was once not hired because I did not have a master's degree. I didn't ever get a master's degree but applied years later and got the job pretty much on the spot. Same title and position. Same pay. The opposite happened for me. I called the interviewer an asshole during the interview after he made some off-color remarks about my weight. Got hired 2 days later. Couldn't get work after graduating college with a physics degree. Ended up going to a coffee shop down the road from where I was living at the time. Filled out the application and saw a manager same day. There was a little chit-chat before and then she asked, so, have you ever made coffee before? And pointed at the espresso machine. I replied with I make coffee at home all the time. She looked me dead in the eyes, straight-faced, and said it's not the same. There was an awkward pause and then after a bit more chit-chat, she sent me on my way. You don't have the necessary qualifications. McDonald's. I was 29 and studying a bachelor's. I'd worked for them from 18 to 19. Tears of joy.